Today we're going to be answering Google's most asked questions that a music teacher can answer. First Google question. Why do violins squeak? Because you suck at playing them. I'm just kidding. Violins squeak because, believe it or not, they're actually, I personally believe, and many music teachers do, the hardest instrument to learn. Why? Is because the learning curve on a violin is much steeper than an instrument like the piano or clarinet or saxophone. So it's a hard instrument to learn. Therefore, the first year of violin lessons is going to be a bunch of very scary noises. Is violin harder than piano? I just got into it. But yes, the violin is most definitely harder than piano. But no, it's not. Stop it. I will show you how to be in tune on the piano. It's very different than being in tune on the violin. Should I force my child to do practice? The answer is no. Be kind to your kids. Is playing guitar attractive? Haha! Playing guitar is attractive. I would say it's more attractive than playing the violin. I think there's a certain stigma with the guitar player. Maybe it comes from the rock star era, but yeah, I think playing guitar is attractive. Am I attractive yet? Is it ever too late to learn an instrument? No, it's not at all ever too late to learn an instrument. I have taught retired people. In fact, I used to teach at a retirement home, and yeah, never too late to start. What is the hardest instrument to learn? By far, I believe the violin, followed closely by flute and French horn, and then it gets really a lot more debatable. But that's what I would say, the violin for sure. Can you learn violin by yourself? This is a good one. My initial answer would be no. In fact, I believe there are some instruments you can learn by yourself, or at least you can start by yourself, because nowadays there's YouTube and courses and tons of things that you can do. But violin is one of those instruments that is so technical to even have a good sound that things that usually we can kind of forego a little bit more, like posture, violin is not a forgiving instrument. How do I know my teacher is good? This is a very nuanced answer. My answer would be give them a try and see how a lesson goes. There are two schools of thought here. A good teacher must have a big resume with lots of accolades and lots of achieved and accomplished students. But there's a lot of teachers that aren't at the very, very, very best of the top 1%er that have a lot to teach and that you can learn a lot from. The only way for you to really know is to actually give them a shot. In fact, if I can give you something more controversial, some of the worst teachers that I've ever seen have been the most accomplished. Teaching in itself is an art form, and I would say 70 to 80% of what makes a good teacher is your ability to connect with your students. Because that's what's going to inspire the student, and they're going to listen to you, and they're going to want to be like you, and they're going to actually enjoy their lessons. That's a skill that you have to train, and it's a muscle you got to get good at. So my advice is give them a shot, see how you feel in the lessons, see how you connect. Good question. Very nice question. Can you learn music from YouTube? Yeah, absolutely. You can absolutely learn music from YouTube as long as you stay away from the instruments like violin that are incredibly technically heavy in order to get a good sound. YouTube is a great teacher, and there's lots of great teachers on YouTube. One thing I'll caution against is that learning from YouTube a lot of the times is going to make you learn by ear, not necessarily learning how to read the notes. As someone who back in the day primarily started learning piano through ear, I have to caution you. You want to, at some point, get to the basics, get your foundation in there, and why not use learning from ear as something to motivate you and get you going. Just be aware that you're gonna need to learn the notes, and you gotta get real good at sight reading if you wanna take music seriously. Does bigger hands make you play better? What a good question. The blanket answer is no, but I'm not gonna be one of those incredibly inspirational teachers like you can do it. I'm not gonna lie, having bigger hands, different types of hands will give you a little bit of an edge in some different things. For example, if you have thin fingers and slender hands, if you have thin fingers, you are going to find violin playing a little bit easier. It's much easier to stay in tune. When it's vibrato time, you have a little bit more controls. If you have bigger, longer fingers, piano will be a little bit easier for you as well if you want to reach octaves and so and so. And there are, of course, legends for the violinists who had crazy big hands like Paganini, or the crazy pianists like Rachmaninoff and so and so. So it doesn't make you better, but you might get an edge here and there with the different types of hands. Why do violinists sway so much? If you see a violinist swaying a lot, that's a good thing, because I have been a violinist and a conductor of plenty of orchestras where my students or fellow professional colleagues are like this the whole time. Swaying is a good thing. Swaying means you're feeling the music, you're phrasing the music. There are some exceptions, like people that look like a helicopter when they're playing, but I will be lying to you if I say, when I play an orchestra, I don't do this. I absolutely do. Why does my child cry every lesson? Because it doesn't want to be in that lesson. I want to say get a new teacher, but I must be careful because we must consult with what the kid is feeling and what it wants to do. They're not having fun and they don't want to be there. What to do about it and what the causes of that are is going to be a little bit too nuanced for me to give a quick answer, but talk to them. Observe a lesson, see if it's fun. Is it engaging? Is it just very much like this? Is it just do your scales? Are they learning a fun piece, or are they learning a certification piece that they don't want to do? You know, there's lots of variables. Competitions, helpful or hurtful? Mostly hurtful. There's not much good that can come from competitions at a young age. Why? I have not met many kids that once they reach a certain level, they turn to mom and say, Mom, I want to take this thing which I enjoy doing, and I want to go and have a very stressful time being judged by judges, getting a score to later make me feel X about myself. So there are a select few students where that actually might be fun, that might be enticing, where you want to maybe challenge yourself, where you maybe you like trophies and you like medals and you like awards, so you really want to kind of go do that. Or you saw something like Your Lie in April, you're like, well, that sounds exciting. Some parts of Your Lie in April. That sounds exciting, and I want to be on that stage, and I want to feel like that. I want to be the next Itzhak Perlman. There are people like that, and in that case, yes, but for the most part, they are actually hurtful. Should every child learn an instrument? Every child should try. Every child should try. Because some kids are just not music kids. Some kids just like sports way more. Some kids love music. But I would say every child should try an instrument, and if they like it, they should stick with it. If not, at least they got to try it. Miss Mandy, any bonus questions for us?
Well, there's two that are good.
Go.
One you've already. Is Suzuki the best method? We can't go there yet. Let's not go there.
No, it's not. It's one of the worst. But that's a video for another time. My beef with the Suzuki method goes far, but that'll be for a different video. With that being said, let us know if you like this type of videos, so we can definitely pull out a lot more questions to answer them. Thanks for watching.